Hey everyone. So I want to take a few moments to follow up on the poem that we read for the Week 8 discussion. If you remember, that poem was My Ex-Husband by Gabriel Sparrow. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. Um, I do want to address a couple of things though. The first is talking about the tone, the persona and the tone. Um, if you go through the poem very carefully, you should have been able to pick up on the speaker has gone through a divorce. And, that's my ex-husband pictured on the shelf, smiling as if in love. So we're looking at a picture of the ex-husband. And then she goes through everything about him, his appearance, how he is with the ladies, how attractive he is, and how he was prone to affairs, and she finally had enough and divorced him. And now she is speaking to what we would assume to be a new significant other, only because she makes the point, kind of ashamed to waste it, the picture frame, kind of ashamed to waste it on him, but what could I do since I haven't got a photograph of you? So she doesn't have a photograph of this new man or a new person, and so we're kind of left to assume that whoever this other person is, it's a new significant other. Serious, not serious yet, who knows? But they are romantically involved in some way at this point. But she's clearly still bitter, the way she speaks about his affairs and how he carried himself and how he didn't seem to care if anyone realized what he was doing. So yeah, she's a little bitter, but at the same time relieved almost in a way. There's this tone of self-assuredness in some way that she's not afraid to say these things about him. She wasn't afraid to, skip the counseling and go straight to divorce. And, and she's moving on. So the tone is just very interesting, but I think what makes this poem so cool, so interesting, is that it is a play on My Last Duchess. And if you did not pick up on that, it's okay. But if you didn't, go back and reread My Last Duchess. And then read this one. She uses, the poet used the same format, the same tone, the same kind of language, and turned it, right? So that it's no longer a portrait of a murdered duchess, that it is a photograph of a cheating ex-husband. And we learn much more about the ex-husband in this poem than what we really learned about the Duchess in My Last Duchess. We tend to learn much more about the speaker, the Duke, in that poem. In this one, we learn a little bit more specifics about the person in the picture, the ex-husband. But we still also learn a good bit about this speaker as well. The persona that was created, the tone. I think if you were to compare the two personas, this speaker here in My Ex-Husband seems to be a little more likable, or at least a little more understandable. Maybe it's just more relatable. It's not a crazy person who had their spouse killed because she smiled at the sunset and a bowl of cherries. Um, but this speaker and my ex-husband, I think it's a little more relatable. We can understand what has happened and why. It's an ex-husband now and not a current husband anymore. But I just love how successfully this poet was able to use the framework of My Last Duchess, and almost line for line it matches up, but yet it doesn't, because the persona and the tone have shifted so greatly that it tells us a completely different kind of story, but yet it's a very similar story. So I think that that's very successful. I hope you guys enjoyed reading this one. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but if you have any questions about it or want to follow up with me on anything, feel free to reach out to me.